Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Walky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana with another episode of Coffee Time here at Walky Pot Studio. Lots of stuff going on last week, and Diana, what are we going to be talking about on this week's show?
Well, it's Coffee Time 57.
Number 57.
Yes,
Coffee Time 57.
57. They go by fast, don't they? And also, today is February 2nd.
Happy Groundhog Day, everyone.
I have to say, I love groundhogs. They are so cute. I want to squish them.
So Punxsutawney Phil crawled out of his cave this morning at Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania, and he saw his shadow. And that means that we have 6 more weeks of winter. Now, I'm not worried too much. What's his average? What's his
I believe it's 30 to 35%.
Of 35% accuracy rate. I'm not worried too much about it. I will say that we've had enough snow this winter, and that it's okay if winter is actually over. That's all right by me.
I'm actually ready to have seeds starting and things growing and stuff. So, but all in good time. However, I am very curious. Do other people in other parts of the world have these animals who make these weather...
Here in the United States,
predictions?
Punxsutawney Phil is our weather prognosticator. Are there other animals in other countries that you guys use as a source to determine whether or not it's actually springtime or wintertime or summer or whatever? I'd love to know.
I know. Or is it just us?
Maybe it's just us. Who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, it's all good.
Happy Groundhog Day anyway.
Yes. So, and now we'll go ahead and talk about, our week last week. Mm-hmm. So, we started our new schedule last week, and I thought it worked wonderfully on Monday. Mm-hmm. I made things in the morning. So here's what this wasn't the only thing I made. It sounded like
for the whole day she made one spoon rest.
One spoon rest.
Not true.
But I'm really proud, guys, because I did 9 spoon rests on the wheel that day.
You did a very good job.
And I'm really tickled. I like my little lines in the bottom and all, so I was real happy with those. So they're actually going to be going into the kiln, and after we're done filming, we're going to be starting a bisque load. So.
Right, so today we'll get a bisque load in, and it'll be a pretty full bisque load.
Yes.
And Diana did a fantastic job on those spoon rests. They're very consistent, very similar in shape and size. I think she did a fantastic job.
And I did manage to glaze on that same day.
So we got some glazing done that day too.
Yeah.
I was talking about on our last coffee time. I was talking about that one big bowl that I made out of the globs of random reclaim.
It looks beautiful.
And I was very worried that because I didn't wedge it up very well, that I might have some air bubbles, and that when I trimmed it out, I would expose some of those air bubbles. And that would expose some cavities and holes in the bowl, and that did not happen. My bowl turned out quite well. I'm very happy with it.
It's beautiful.
I think it's a great shape, and I think it's going to be fantastic once it's all glazed up.
Yes.
And
nice size.
Yep. Too. And I also made this little smaller one also that I'm out of the same. I think I made that out of the same glob of clay.
Right.
And they turned out quite well. And a couple of things too, a couple mugs and stuff too.
And we were really pushing to use up those bits of reclaim that we had of the Sheltoe.
We almost ran out. It was so close. We only had a couple pounds of new clay.
Yes, and you guys might remember how we've had a back order at the ceramic shop for a long while now to get Sheltoe clay and the Iceman clay from Kentucky Mudworks. But I'm happy to say we got an email in on Wednesday, I think it was.
That's right.
And that kind of changed up our entire week, and we made the trip to Norristown to pick up our clay.
So last week we were really kind of struggling with whether we'd have enough. And the clouds opened up, the sun shone down, and our clay that was on back order had been delivered to the warehouse, and we were able to pick that up.
Yes, so that was amazing. And of course, you can't just go and get clay when you go to the ceramic shop. It's impossible. So
it's a bonanza.
yeah,
It's
see,
a
there's
pottery
lots of
extravaganza.
lots of things. Yes, so we picked up lots of things. I know I got more glazes. There were some I actually had in the order, and then some I picked up when I got there because we'd run out of quite a bit of things too while we were waiting. But on the table, I have some that are new to us. I've been wanting them for some time, or in the case of the Spectrum ones, I had gotten the little small sample jars, and I really fell in love with certain ones. So the bacon cooker from last week, that was glazed with the tapenade, the ginger, and the Louisiana Bayou. And so I made sure I got a big container of those. There were a couple of others I really, really wanted, but they were out of stock.
That's
So,
okay.
it's
We'll
okay.
make do with what we
Yes.
did get. So we
But
have
I-
lots of new glaze.
But I did get pearl white, and I'm so excited to have pearl white because, you know, it'll look really nice on the standard 112, but it'll also do a phenomenal job on the Ace Man showing texture. So I'm looking forward to that. And some new Mako ones that we picked up too. I have wanted amaryllis for so long, guys. This is just so beautiful to me. Look at that.
I'll show a picture of this
Yes,
closer up.
I absolutely love that. And then I got Aurora Green, which has that same kind of speckling thing. And then one called Sand Dollar. And I don't know anything about Sand Dollar, but every time we go, there always seems to be one particular glaze that I just am like, gonna try that one. I have never even heard people using it. I'm sure people have, so I'll be doing some research for that. So maybe if you've done something with Sand Dollar, let me know.
Can't wait to see
Yeah.
it.
So, and I can't forget Amico, my goodness. So I got some lustrous jade and a new celadon. So look at that.
Ochre.
And this is ochre. You know, when I use the standard 112, I never have to really worry about getting a tan. But I'm going to be using Iceman a lot.
Right, so to get
Yay.
those tan light brown tones, we
Yes.
actually are going to have to use a glaze for that rather than depending on the clay body
Yes.
for the color.
And of course, too, a celadon is a nice glaze to put closer to the bottom because it doesn't run.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it helps those other glazes that do run to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to keep our kiln shelves as nice
Pristine as possible
I can.
because
Possibly.
because we didn't buy new kiln shelves when we went to the ceramic shop.
No.
We should, and eventually we're going to have to, but we spent enough money on other kiln maintenance stuff that we decided $120 for one kiln shelf. Maybe not this time because we don't need it. We're okay.
Because we got the what do they think?
coils.
The coils, the elements. The
Right,
elements.
we have to rewire the heating elements in our kiln, and we purchased enough coils. That's why it's on the table here. Enough
Yeah.
coils to do that. So that's going to be another day
more
job.
than just that pack. There's like 5 others.
And it's going to take us a bit of time to do that.
Yeah.
But then you have to fire it one time with no pottery in it to get that. There's a layer that has to build up on the coils to make them last longer.
I didn't know that.
So that's going to take a day or two out of our kiln firing anyway to do that. So our daughter Carolyn has already replaced elements before in a kiln. She knows how to do this. She did that with a glass kiln at the college, and she'll help that day for sure. We'll get everything all packed away. Also bought a new thermocouple because if we're replacing the coils anyway,
as
why
well.
not put in a thermocouple that's simple and easy to do?
Might as well.
May as well.
Yeah.
But we bought a lot of tools.
Oh my
also.
gosh, yes.
And this
Yes.
kind of transitioning into what's going on. You bought a couple new rollers. You're
I got
very
some new
happy
rollers,
with
yes.
new rollers.
Well, this one I had ordered because I do the sweater mugs, and this particular one I have a sweater mug design, but I saw this one online and I picked it up. But then when I got in the store, I was like, look, it's fern leaves. And
Fern
it's like,
leaves. And don't worry, we will show closer pictures
Yes.
of these so you can get a
So I
better
got
look.
that one too.
So you've got a couple of rollers. We did get a new rib from a company called Smashed Studio.
Yeah,
and
I hadn't seen
it's a profile
theirs
rib.
before. There must have been a new display.
Maybe a new
there.
display in the store. This is a profile rib. On the one side, we have these 3 curves, and then we also have a straight edge with a foot, and then we also have a rim trimmer at the top. Now, I'm anxious to try these, and if we like them, we'll probably buy them again.
And it's stiff like a piece of wood,
right?
right?
It's stiff.
It's not flexible.
It's not flexy.
Okay.
I mean, it's maybe a little bit, but certainly not on the wheel. It's not going to be flexy. So I'm looking forward to trying that this coming week. And because we got so many new tools, Diane and I were thinking that maybe what we need to do is showcase some of the tools that we use here in the studio and talk to you a little bit about them. In addition to the Smash Studios rib that I just showed you, we also got this boomerang rib from Mud Tools. Yeah. This is Cheryl Mud Tools, and this one is flexy. It's not as bendy as our the red ones, but I'm going to get this and hopefully use this to help me make some of the contours and the curves in some of the things that I make on the wheel. Okay. Now, for contrast, this is one of my normal wooden normal ribs that I use on the wheel. I use this all the time. So this boomerang shaped rib is going to help me get some of the rounder, curvier profiles that maybe are a little harder to achieve with my regular rib. All the curvy shapes that I make, I have been able to achieve by using the rounded edge of the wooden rib. So it's not like I am going to be making any new kinds of stuff because of this, but I'm thinking this is going to make it a little easier for me to do some of the things that I already made. Right. Now that's one of the things that I picked up. Yes. And then another thing that I picked up is this Speedball base setter. Now, I've never tried one of these, but
it was so funny because you were talking about it and we looked all over the store and I couldn't find it, and then we were at the register and getting ready to leave, and all of a sudden you look and you go, I think that's it.
And it was on the clearance section. Yes. The last one they had in the store. You put this on your wheel head and you use this for opening a ball of clay that's been centered on the wheel. So you center your lump of clay, you use this to help open the middle, and both of these handles go flat down on the wheel head while it's spinning, and then you use this to set the hole, and then you pull it back towards you a little bit to give you a nice flat even bottom. Now this particular one gives you a bottom of 3/8 of an inch, which is too thick for maybe for a mug, but for a bowl that you want to have a nice foot on, I think it would be really great. So I'm anxious to try this to see if this will help me get more consistent and maybe get a little braver with my throwing so that I'm learning how to make some new things.
Also, didn't I read somewhere about this type of a tool being good for someone who has arthritis in their hands and maybe doesn't have as much strength anymore?
Right. This will make it a little easier
to throw for longer.
Yep. I don't have any wrist problems yet, but I'm no spring chicken, and you never know. But I wanted to try it, and because it was on clearance, I didn't even think twice about it. And then to find out that it's purple, I mean...
Oh, I know. It just goes with everything we have.
So
it's his favorite color.
That's one of the tools we picked up. We also picked up this... what do we call this? It's a rim cone?
Yes, it's a rim... well... It's there, but it's gone. That's
okay. It's for making sure the rims of small vessels.
It's a rim rounder. Normally, guys, I use terracotta clay pots from the garden center, but I did not have a terracotta clay pot that was small enough to go into our syrup pours and our shot glasses and toothpick holders and all those small things.
So we needed a small one.
So, just to make it as nice and round as we could is, especially when they're hand-built things. And so, that's a Alexandria Pottery Co.
Right. And this also got us thinking, and this is kind of segueing into what's going on now. This was 3D printed by somebody else, and I don't mind at all buying things that are useful that are 3D printed.
I do all the time.
Because we bought this, and this owl cutter is 3D printed from somebody else. But it made me start thinking that we need to make our own 3D printed stuff. Right. I have a 3D printer. So this kind of leads me into my challenge, really. So
it is a challenge.
We talk about highlights and challenges, and I used to 3D print stuff all the time, but our 3D printer has been sitting in our garage, not here in the studio, because the studio creates so much dust, and it's hard to keep it clean. It's hard to find room for it, and it's hard to find the time to use it and tweak it. So I pulled our own 3D printer out. And my goal is to find out whether our 3D printer will work for me to make our own 3D printed tools, or whether we need to purchase a newer one. That 3D printer is 6 or 8 years old.
Oh, I think it's older than that.
May even be older than that.
Lost track of time.
It's quite old, and although it was awesome for the time, it is getting a little bit cranky and cantankerous, and you have to.
And it wasn't an expensive one either for that time.
It was cheap. I want to say $150, $200. But you have to level the bed manually nearly every time you use it, and it is no longer as user-friendly or as efficient as we would need it to be in order for us to crank out things on a regular basis. Having said that, though, we did use it to make a little flower shape. This was supposed to be a mandola, but there was a problem with the 3D file itself, and it didn't pull the shapes out right. We did use that quite some time ago to make this texture roller, and we also used it in fact, I think I made this morning.
Right.
I made this little stamper tool, and this is just a zodiac sign of the Libra sign, and we'll be able to use this tiny one for making small things like earrings or necklaces or something. But the idea is this is the kind of thing that I should be able to make on my own 3D printer. So time will tell. We have a thing printing right now, and we'll find out whether or not our 3D printer is dependable enough for us to count on making our own tools, or whether we have to think about getting a new one. I'm okay either way. Honestly, it doesn't matter.
Right. And also we were thinking that this might be a way that Christopher could be a little more active with the studio, because he can tend to the printer,
right? Because
it's inside the house while we're making the pottery, because he really doesn't like clay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he doesn't.
But anyway,
but that's
it's
okay.
all good.
So that was our challenge. Our challenge is to figure out whether or not we can make our own 3D printed tools and also custom designs. We're hoping that we're going to be able to use our 3D printer to make custom stamps and logos and things like that.
Yes, we currently have a sunflower printing right now, so fingers crossed that it comes out well, because if it does, then I will use that and use that design on some of my hand-built mugs. So I'm looking forward to
find out.
Hoping it works. And of course, the highlight of the week for me, for both of us really, was the trip to Pennsylvania, because it had been so long since we really had been away from here. And just the drive itself was nice, and looking at different scenery. And I remember one time the fog on the water was beautiful as we were going across the bridge. So that was nice. And then, of course, we stopped to the Celtic Pub
in Smyrna, Delaware. The Celtic Pub in Smyrna, Delaware, where I believe I had the best Reuben sandwich I've ever had in my whole life. I think so.
Yes, and it was very nice. And then, of course, we also stopped to the bookstore on the way home, and I got 2 puzzles and a book.
And this was what day?
Friday.
Today's Sunday.
Yes.
And you have almost finished the puzzle?
Yes, I'll take a picture of how much is left. I love
She
to put
is a machine together when it comes to putting together puzzles, you guys.
I do. I love to put puzzles together. They're fun. So, but that whole day was a highlight. And then, of course, we picked up a splurge.
Right.
While we were in the ceramic store. It happens almost every time.
We find something expensive that we just can't live without.
And it's something that we've been, not me, but you had been talking about for some time.
It is hiding in this
wanting, and I kept thinking I had it in the back of my mind for maybe a holiday gift or a birthday gift or whatever. But you know what? Life is short, guys. Go ahead and get it.
I can't wait to show it to you, but I'm not going to show it to you yet, because I'm going to do it on a separate video.
Yes.
This is a Giffen Grip Mini, and I'm going to use this in the studio to trim up lots and lots of cups, and mostly almost exclusively cups and small bowls. Right. But this should streamline things, make us a little more fast and efficient. And I'm not going to show it to you yet, because, as I said, I'm going to do that in a separate video, which leads me into another thing. We want to start showcasing and highlighting some of the tools that we use here in the studio, how we use them, and where we got them, and things like that. Right. So you're going to see a video for the Giffen Grip. I'm also going to show you a video for the Speedball Base Setter tool, and I will show you a video highlighting the Mud Tools boomerang rib to show you how I use that when I make pottery. Maybe we can get Diana to do a quick video to show you how to do how she uses this to set her rims.
Yeah.
And they'll be short little videos, but I think it's important that we share with you guys the tools that we are using here in the video, the things that we like, and little shortcuts and stuff.
And I mean, when we started, we didn't have all these little gadgets and gizmos and tools and whatnots. And, you know, because when you start, really, you just need the clay. You know, you can make do with whatever you have, but the wonderful thing is the longer you do something, the more you collect certain items that make what you're doing easier. And
we want to share with you guys the things that we find useful here in the studio.
Yes. So, you know, because it's good.
Yep. Yeah. You need to see our useful things. So we'll show you those.
And then, of course, this week, we are looking forward to using these new tools. I can't
wait. I'm so anxious to get that Giffen grip set up on my wheel and start trimming some pots. In fact, I've got 4 cups back there right now just waiting to be trimmed.
And of course, you know, we have the homeschool clay class on Tuesday. Last week they made the mugs, which we can show a picture of. This week they're going to be making plates, and I'm going to have them using some rollers and stamps and things to, you know, add texture and design to their plates. So that'll be on Tuesday, and that's always a challenge anyway, because it's the number of kids and you know.
It will go by in the blink of an eye, but it will be crazy, chaotic,
It's
fun
and exhausting, but it's good. And then we had that, I noticed the Facebook post from the market.
Oh my goodness, you guys, 14 weeks until it's hammer time again.
Oh my gosh, 14 weeks, yes. So anyway, so we set a new goal.
New goal.
We want to have 7 glaze kiln loads by the time the market starts.
That's right. And though, if we're able to do that, those 7 kiln loads of finished glazed pottery will give us a time advantage when the market starts, so that we don't have to hustle quite so fast during the market season.
Yes, and also that means that we could possibly have a day off during the market season instead of working 7 days a week for the entire summer season. We would actually get to take a day and go sit on the beach and read our book.
I've got a motorcycle in the other half of our building here is very much looking forward to a day off. Very much.
So yes, so those 7 kiln loads will really help.
Right.
So that means what? It's 1 glaze load every 2 weeks.
I
can do that.
That's not
I can
difficult
do that
to achieve.
without that crazy massive push. Yes, and of course, again, all these new ones. This is not even half, guys, of what I bought.
I'll bet I can make 10 times as many potteries if I have that Giffen grip out. I'll bet I can.
That's right. That's right. It might make the job easier. But
we'll see.
Yes. So that's probably pretty much for this coming week. We're gonna be playing.
I can't wait to use these new I did almost call them new toys.
You did, didn't you?
New tools. I can't wait to use these new tools here in the studio. I have an idea that we're going to find a couple useful things, and there'll be some things that aren't quite as useful. I'm anxious to figure out whether we're going to be able to use our 3D printer for a lot of tool making. I want a wheel gauge for a throwing gauge rather, for making consistently sized and shaped pottery on the wheel. And I found a 3D model for making that. It's not that it's terribly expensive to buy, but it would be cool if I could make my own.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yes.
Yep.
And of course, this afternoon, my cousin Karen and Christopher and I are going over to Ocean City, and we're going to an indoor miniature golf.
Miniature golf, yep.
Miniature golf, yes. And so I'm going to go try to win.
Gotta win.
Not really. We're not that competitive, but it's kind of fun.
Well, I'm going to be puttering around with the 3D printer and maybe a couple of other little gadgety things. Possibly trying to set up that Giffen grip this afternoon so that I'm all set and I know what I'm doing with that.
Alrighty then. Well, I
think that's about it, right?
Yep.
Okay. If you have not yet hit that like and subscribe button, please do that. It helps us out a lot. We really appreciate each and every one of you. For now, toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. See you later. Have a fantastic day no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.